I'm at with K15T, and we're going to talk about Atlassian Intelligence and the superpowers it brings to Confluence. So managing content in Confluence can kind of feel like you're living in a maze. You're balancing tasks, making sure content is clear, you're doing things efficiently, all while trying to keep up with sort of the ever-changing demands of your team. That can be a lot. But the good news is that Atlassian Intelligence is here to help make content creation both more efficient and more intuitive. In this video, we're going to explain what Atlassian Intelligence is, we'll explore how it can save you a lot of time in your daily work, and we'll highlight some pitfalls to avoid when using artificial intelligence. Atlassian Intelligence is a new cloud feature which brings ChatGPT, OpenAI's powerful large language model-based AI chatbot, to Confluence Cloud and other Atlassian Cloud products. Okay, so what does that actually mean for you and your teams? Well, it means that Atlassian Intelligence can help you generate new or additional content. You can summarize or transform existing content. You can translate content into another language. You can scan your content for action items, and this is just the beginning. And by the way, it's available for other Atlassian products as well, like Jira Software, Jira Work Management, Jira Service Management, Atlassian Analytics, Compass, and I think I should say Jira one more time. Have you ever met a new friend or a love interest and you're super excited about them, and then a loved one sits down with you to talk a little bit about having healthy expectations? Well, I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about how we work with our new friend, Atlassian Intelligence. So Atlassian Intelligence is a virtual teammate, okay? It's powered by tech developed by OpenAI that's being used by Atlassian. So it works best to sort of treat Atlassian Intelligence like a friendly sort of outside perspective that's there to offer you help. That'll both help you and Atlassian Intelligence sort of shine your brightest. I hope this talk has helped. Now go out there and be yourself. Okay. There are so many things that you can do with Atlassian Intelligence, and we are just at the beginning of that expansive journey. So first, there are a bunch of places where you can interact with Atlassian Intelligence within Confluence. So for starters, we'll look at some of the ways that we can use Atlassian Intelligence right in the editor, which admittedly is sometimes the place we need the most help. Right? The editor is kind of like our research laboratory where we're doing our greatest work, and so it seems like the perfect place to have an assistant. So to use Atlassian Intelligence at its full potential, you really need to be able to write good prompts. Those are sort of the things that you type to the assistant. Prompts really determine how well the AI understands the context and the quality of our input. So it can generate the best output that it can. But it can be really hard to know what to ask Atlassian Intelligence to do, especially if you're looking for a very specific outcome. So what do you do if you can't come up with a good prompt? Well, you can just ask Atlassian Intelligence what kinds of things you can type into it in order to give you the best possible result. And you do this by telling Atlassian Intelligence what it is you're looking to accomplish. Seriously, I want to write a release notes blog post for our customers. Can you ask me questions which will provide you the context you need to write the blog post? And voila! You don't need to think about what Atlassian Intelligence might need to create a good output. It will literally tell you in its output what you need to ask it next to get the output you're actually looking for. Now remember, Atlassian Intelligence is a virtual teammate. It relies on your guidance to sort of perform its best, of course, but just like a great teammate, being honest when you don't know what to do is always going to be the best thing. So if you're ever unsure how to prompt Atlassian Intelligence, just ask it for help. Writer's block. So much fun. The blank page problem shows up when you're trying to do what you do best and you're trying to write about it, but you just do not know where to start. That happens all the time. And in some cases, this can be solved just using page templates, which give you some page structure. You should check out our video all about those. But in other instances, Atlassian Intelligence can help you overcome that blank page problem as well. And to do that, you'll need to tell Atlassian Intelligence what you want to write about, and it will help you get started. For real. It's crazy. Can you write an outline for an article about the blank page problem. And here's the thing, the output doesn't even need to be close to perfect. The goal is to get your creative juices flowing so you can overcome that blank page problem. In fact, at K15T, we use this method all the time to write articles and video scripts for videos like this one. And the final pieces of content look very different than what comes out of Atlassian Intelligence, but it just kind of gets us going into the creative process. Look, sometimes we write a lot about the things that we're passionate about, and yes, maybe my walls of text come across as a bit much and in need of some serious shortening, but every word is accurate. As you may have learned from our video about creating beautiful pages in Confluence, summarizing the content of the page at the top helps readers quickly grasp what the whole page is about. And Atlassian Intelligence can take this best practice a step further by writing a too long didn't read, or TLDR, section for you and your readers. And in the case that you have a lot of filler words, Atlassian Intelligence can also shorten or even rewrite your content to remove those. Sometimes you just need to brainstorm, and all of your coworkers are off doing other things as they do. This is where Atlassian Intelligence can once again jump in and help. To brainstorm ideas or discuss topics with you, like what's a modern layout for a how-to article in product documentation. The output is a good start that you can build on, but you should always refine the output, especially if you need fresh ideas about a topic. Atlassian Intelligence can totally help you think about an even better or more broad idea than maybe you originally had in your head. You can also discuss and reevaluate the output with Atlassian Intelligence until you get an output that you can really use as a starting point for your creative process. All right, let's get out of the editor for a bit and see how Atlassian Intelligence can help us in other parts of Confluence. Shall we? In big Confluence sites, it can be difficult to find the content that you're looking for sometimes. Sure, you can build a Confluence structure for success like we explore in our video, but it can still be really challenging sometimes. But Atlassian Intelligence is also embedded in Confluence Search, so you can find the answer to a question without having to track down any particular piece of content. If you start to search in Confluence Cloud, you'll see the Atlassian Intelligence icon right in the search bar, and it will start to scan your content and provide you an answer based on your content, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, we are just at the beginning of the Atlassian Intelligence journey. There are many more things you can do today, and even more you'll be able to do in the future. Things like summarize the content of a page. You can use the summarize button at the top of any Confluence page, and Atlassian Assistant will generate a summary of the content to see if that's what it is you're looking for. After creating content, you can simply use Atlassian Intelligence to proofread your content for spelling and grammar errors. This can save you and your copy editors a lot of time. We use this all the time at K15T. The tone of your content is really hard to nail down, or maybe you feel like you know what the tone is, but it's not quite right. You can let Atlassian Intelligence rewrite it with a professional tone or whatever tone you prefer. In this case, you don't even have to type anything into Atlassian Intelligence. These are just prompts that are already predefined. You just have to pick them from the dropdown and beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. It just does its thing. You can use Atlassian Intelligence to go through your meeting notes and have it scan for action items that need to be pulled out and performed by the team. This really helps ensure that no tasks sort of fall under the table. Acronyms, I don't like them. Things like VPT, CTT, KYG. What do these mean, right? If you highlight one of these acronyms in Confluence, you have the option to use Atlassian Intelligence to define the term for you. The AI is going to go out and search Confluence to figure out what the definition of that acronym is. This is really useful, especially for new team members who have no idea what these acronyms mean in the first place, or team members like myself who completely forgot because they're surrounded by acronyms all day. To make sure that Atlassian Intelligence has the information it needs to generate these definitions, you could create a dedicated page or pages that have all of your company acronyms and the definitions right there. If you're new in Confluence and you haven't found K15T's channel full of Confluence best practice and tutorial videos, like and subscribe, then you can use Atlassian Intelligence as your onboarding partner. You can ask questions about the Atlassian tools, like how do you create a page in Confluence Cloud, or how do you make a Jira issue? It's going to provide you the answer that you're looking for. To do this, you can create a space or a page where you have all of the answers to common questions that new team members have, and then Atlassian Intelligence will just pull answers from that content, which is really a great way to future-proof your onboarding and make sure that everybody benefits, not just the one person you're making an onboarding plan for. Also, if you use automation in Confluence, which you really should, check out our video on that. Soon you'll be able to use Atlassian Intelligence to type in what you want your automation to do, and an automation rule will just be created for you. Okay, look, using Atlassian Intelligence is just like using any other AI tool. It always needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Even though AIs can be a really big help, they aren't always perfect. So watch out for these common mistakes. Make sure the content in your Confluence site is up to date, complete, well-structured, and accurate, because Atlassian Intelligence will learn from your existing content base. It's going to look for answers to questions when those questions are asked. So if you have garbage content, it's going to give garbage answers. To help with this, I'd recommend checking out our video on how to structure content well in Confluence for future success, and also check out K15T's app Scroll Content Quality, which lets you define a set of quality checks for pages. So as people are creating them, they can see if the content is actually meeting your quality standards or not. So feed the AI good content, it will give you good answers. Don't rely solely on Atlassian Intelligence without really questioning its output. While Atlassian Intelligence is trained on just so much data, it doesn't guarantee that every one of its responses are going to be accurate or up to date or correct in any way. Always verify the information with trusted sources before you just run with it. So when you're using Atlassian Intelligence in your processes, remember that the output will not be consistently the same. Atlassian Intelligence really shines where you're doing new creation or you're trying to skim through content and do different things with that. But if you're looking to do something consistently over and over and over and over again, a generative AI tool like Atlassian Intelligence might not fit the bill. Even though Atlassian and OpenAI guarantee that they're not going to share your data for further AI training purposes, we still recommend avoiding sharing personal, confidential, or sensitive data with Atlassian Intelligence. While Atlassian Intelligence is a great help, overusing it can hinder your research abilities, your critical thinking skills, your creativity. So remember to use it as a help in doing your greatest work and not over-relying on it. Yes, Atlassian Intelligence can generate really creative content, but really true innovation might require your own intuition and your own out-of-the-box thinking. Using generated content in certain fields without disclosure could lead to legal or ethical challenges, so be aware of how the content you're creating with Atlassian Intelligence is going to be used. So this is Atlassian Intelligence. We have been using this at K15T for quite a while now to help us in creating our content, organizing our content, create action items, and it is an amazing, new, very valuable member of the team. We are always being careful not to rely too heavily on it or to take what we get from Atlassian Intelligence and building upon that so that our content is truly creative, truly reliable, and truly unique, but the assistance that it gives us and the speed at which we can go from a blank page to a first draft has just been absolutely multiplied. But this is just Atlassian Intelligence. There is so much more you can do in Confluence, and at K15T, we'll explore that without you even prompting us. So hit that like and subscribe button, share this video with a teammate who's looking for a virtual assistant, and join us for another video as we continue to explore how to use Confluence to share what you do best.